things are about to change. It's about to change for us. And this is why God is calling us. Watch this. This is where we have to step into the need of people. Give me Matthew, the 25th chapter. And I want to start reading about the 34th verse. And so what you have to understand, what Matthew is teaching us. He said, and the king say unto them on this right hand, come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom. Prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungered and you gave me meat. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. Get ready to pick it up, Harry. I was a stranger and you took me in. Naked. Go ahead, Harry.
And you clothed me.
Read.
I was sick.
Read.
And ye visited me.
Read.
I was in prison. And you came unto me.
How many of you said that? God, you were there in the wee hours of the night. You were there when nobody else was there. You came to me. When I cried out and I said, Lord, I need your help, you were there. Lord, when I was behind those prison bars and I said, Lord, will you deliver me out of this place? You were there. When I was laying in the hospital bed and you said, Lord, if I can just get up out of this place, if I can get my healing, you were there. Read, Harry, read.
Then shall the righteous answer him, saying,
read, sir.
Lord, when we saw thee a hunger.
And God said, when did I do this? When the disciples came and said, when did we do this? Lord, you know who you are. I don't remember giving you food. I don't remember being there with you in those sleepless nights. But watch this. Read, Harry.
When saw we thee a hunger and fed thee?
Read, sir.
Or thirsty and gave thee drink?
Read, sir.
When saw we thee a stranger and took thee in?
Read, sir.
Or naked and clothed?
I don't remember doing none of this. I don't remember giving somebody food. I don't remember housing somebody in my house when they didn't have anywhere to go. I don't remember none of these things, but this is what God has called us for. You're connected to something that's bigger than you. And I look at what God did. Claudia, watch this. God touched a man and a woman's heart, and he said, I want you to form a ministry. And I want you to go out into the highways, into the byways, and I want you to compel people to come to my house. And when they get there, I'm going to have somewhere for them to stay. I'm going to have a place where that they can eat 3 hot meals a day. I'm going to have a place where when they are cold and sleeping outside under bridges and sleeping in parks on benches and sleeping on the side of the road and sleeping in abandoned houses, I'm going to have a place called the House of David, and I'm going to have that place where they can go and rest their heads. When they're hungry, when they don't have any food to eat, I'm going to put a place called the kitchen. And in this kitchen, I'm going to have people that's going to come and prepare meals for them. And I'm going to touch people's hearts, and I'm going to have them donate food. And I'm going to have them put money into an offering plate on Sundays. And I'm going to have them come in the middle of the week and say, I'm giving the offering because there are people that's going to come. And they don't have anywhere to go. The outcast. The unimportant, the ones that were lost, that don't have anywhere to go. He said, I'm going to touch a man by the name of Bishop Jefferson. And I'm going to send him from Dallas, Texas. And I'm going to get a woman by the name of Dr. Brenda Jefferson. And I'm going to allow them to pass the cross. I'm going to allow them to unite in marriage. And I'm going to allow them to put a ministry together. In Tampa, in Atlanta, in North Carolina, Memphis, Tennessee, in Miami, in Leesburg, in North Carolina, in Albuquerque, in New York, in Kentucky, in Texas, in Oklahoma, in the Caribbean, in London, in Africa, in other parts of the states that I didn't name. And I said, and I'm gathering all of these people because they are part of the Outcast. And there are going to be people that's going to call you and say that I need help. Can you help my son? Can you help my daughter? The Outcast. I'm going to send people that said, I'm tired of living my life this way. The Outcast, the unimportant. I'm going to send you people that have been bound on drugs for 20 years and 30 years and 40 years and begging to be delivered. The Outcast. And I'm going to touch your heart, and I'm going to send people that's going to help you. And I'm going to align your story just like the woman at the well. It's going to come up because I want your voice to be heard. And I want you to step into the need to meet the need. I'm going to allow you to develop a clothing closet that can give them fresh clothes and and needs that they can cleansing needs, soap and water and deodorant and all lotions and all of the things that they need. And I'm going to give you the tools, and I'm going to give you people that's going to be obedient to you, that's going to see the call that's upon this ministry. Disciples asked this to Jesus, how do we do this? Finish that for me, Harry.
And the king shall answer and say unto him,
watch this.
Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these.
He said, what? The unimportant. Read it again, Harry.
Inasmuch as ye have done it unto the least of these.
He's talking to the outcast. Read it again, Harry.
And as much as ye have done it unto the least of these.
He's talking about the ones that feel that they are undeserving. Read it again, Harry.
Inasmuch as ye have done it unto the least.
The ones that feel that your life is insignificant. Read it one more time.
Inasmuch as you have done unto one of the least of these.
When you feel like that is not you and that you are all alone, God said, if you did it for the one, if you did it for one of them, every time that you gave an offering, every time that you donated a loaf of bread, every time that you put in labor and say, I'm going to come and help sweep up the grounds, and I'm going to help dump the trash, I'm going to help clean a bathroom, he said that you were responsible for that outcast. You were the one that helped make a difference. You were the one that maybe you didn't have the time to be there laboring at night, but because you invested into this vision, you were a part of making it happen. Finish that, Harry, and I'm about to get out of here.
Inasmuch as you have done unto one of the least of these,
read, sir, my
brother, you have done it unto me.
And that's what God is telling us. And this is why God put this message in my heart talking about the outcast. And you're looking at your life and you're saying that, what can I do? But as you connect to what God is doing right here, you're helping feed that wayfaring man. You're helping making a difference in a little child's life. You're helping putting food on somebody's table. You're helping a child get back into school with necessary needs. This is what you're saying, the unimportant. And if I had a visual right now, I will put it up and I will put a line through un and say that you are important. You are who God has called. You are who God is going to use. You are who are significant to this work. So now I want to say this in closing. It's now time to give ourselves more to prayer so that we can ask God to allow us to see the struggles of others. You may feel that you're going through, but somebody else is in a worse position than you are. And that's why I want you to understand today, is thrown out the window, and you need to realize that you are important. In this Outcast series, I'm believing God that somebody is going to pull up their bootstraps and say that there's more that I can do. There's more that I can be of a help. And if I can help anywhere else in the world, I can start right here in my home church. If there's any more that I can do to make a difference, I can give more of my time, I can give more of my resources, I can give more to help. And saying that when the king says, how did I do all of these things? If you did it for one, you did it for so many more. Why do you think people are attracted to you? Why do you think that you were the one that everybody wanted to hang around? Even when you were in the lowest part of your life, people still wanted to hang around you. People still wanted to be associated with you. Even though they didn't mean you any good, they still wanted to keep you into a place because Satan felt that if I can keep you here long enough, and when I keep you here long enough, then the plan of God may be lifted off of your life because you felt that you can't go any further. And now what happens next? It reminds me of this story in the Bible in Luke the 15th chapter, Harry, where you see that there was the prodigal son, and the prodigal son goes to a place where that he felt that he needed to leave his father's house, but then he leaves and now he loses all of his inheritance. He goes to a land where the Bible said it was so bad that he started hanging out with the pigs, the swines, and he was in a place where he said that if I felt in my life that I've gotten this low, he said, if I go back to my father's house, it's better than where I'm at today. And today I want to challenge somebody. That spirit of rejection that's on your life, that spirit that's causing you to say that you're not worth it, that spirit that's trying to get you to commit suicide, that's trying to get you to think about that you're not loved, trying to get you to leave the church because you felt that you've been rejected. You're saying that my pastors don't understand me. You're finding yourself pulling away. That fight that you had in you, you don't have no more. That longing that you once had, you don't have no more. That desire that you had, that you wanted to pray and to seek God's face, that you wanted to hit your knees and pray, is no longer there. Because that spirit of rejection is there. And that's why we're talking about Jephthah. Now you see that in his life, his name represents whom God set free. And today I come by to tell you that God is about to set you free. Watch this. Harry, give me Psalms 40 and 2. And when you're seeing that what is taking place right now, that when that spirit of rejection is turned around, your rejection is going to take you to a place of elevation. Read, Harry.
Psalms 40 and 2.
Read, sir.
He brought me up also.
He did what now?
He brought me up also.
He's lifting you up from the place of where you sit and read, sir.
Out of a horrible pit.
He out of a what now?
Out of a horrible pit.
In that place that you're sitting in that place that you feel that you can't come out, God is about to lift you up. Read, sir.
Out of the miry clay.
Read, sir.
And set my feet upon a rock.
He said, what now? I'm about to set your feet, read, sir.
Upon a rock.
He's about to set your feet on a rock, read, sir.
And establish my goings.
He's about to show you in which way to go. See, then what happens is that God knows where you're sitting at today. He knows that where you're down and out at. And he said, I'm about to take you from the place of where you're sitting. I'm about to take you on that place that you're falling down, and I'm about to lift you up, and I'm about to take you from the miry clay. I'm about to set your feet upon a rock, and I'm about to show you which way to go. And you look at what happens in his life. You'll see that there was 3 other people that I'm going to talk about real quick, and I'm going to get out of here. You'll see that Joseph, he was sold by his brethren and imprisoned by the man that who he labored for, who he worked for. We look at Moses. He was rejected by his brother and he was pursued by Pharaoh. And all he did is said that Pharaoh, my God, said, let my people go. And today I'm telling you that the enemy is going to have to take his hands off of your life. And if you're sitting there and you're feeling that spirit of rejection over you, you're feeling that spirit that nobody loves you, you're feeling that spirit that you can't come up out of this, but God told me to prophesy to somebody today and said that I'm about to pull you up out of this miry clay, and I'm about to set your feet on a solid rock, and that rock is Jesus Christ. See, we look at Joseph's life and you see that how much he had had to endure. He had to be endured that his brothers threw him into a well. He had to endure being sold off into slavery. He had to endure being cast into prison. But in the end, his story changed. You see that Moses, he was exiled from his people. He grew up as an Egyptian, but one day his life changed, and he had to leave the land which he was familiar with. And when he left this land, God put him in a place of exile for 40 years. And in 40 years, you'll see that now his life is about to change. And the land where he was rejected from, come on somebody, the land which he was rejected from, where he had to run from, that he had to flee from, God sent him back. And he said, Pharaoh, let my people go. Now we look at David. David, he was rejected to be king. He served his king. He loved Saul, but he was rejected. Saul tried to kill David for time after time again because he didn't want to give up which God had rejected. God rejected Saul and he promoted David, but Saul didn't want to release his reins. Now we look at Jephthah. You'll see that his life changed. He had to leave his land. He had to leave his family because his brothers didn't want to give him his inheritance. Because why? He was the son of a harlot. And I'm talking to somebody. You may never have had a relationship with your mother. You may not have had a relationship with your father, and you grew up with the spirit of rejection on you. You may have made a mistake in your life, and that mistake has been that cloud that's been looming over your life. And you're asking yourself, when will this be over? I can relate to Jephthah. I can relate to his story. But one thing that I like about his story, he was a man of valor. No matter how hard it got, he knew how to fight. And today I want to encourage somebody that's watching, that's listening to me today. Don't lose your fight. The moment that you lose your fight, you're going to find out that somebody needs you to fight for them. And you'll see that when he went to the land of Tob, and Tob is just a place of good or goodness, the same people that rejected him came back and said, we know a man that will fight. We know a man that won't give up. And they goes to Jephthah and they said, will you fight for us? And because he didn't give up the fight, he said, if I fight for you, will you make me a leader over your people? Will you allow me to be a ruler, a governor? And they said, Jephthah, the Lord be our witness. If you will fight for us, and don't let this king come in here to destroy us, we will allow you to lead over us. And so I want to tell you today, the moment that you feel that you're about to give up, somebody needs you to fight for them. When you feel that you don't have nowhere else to turn, somebody's saying, can you go a little bit longer? Because I need your fight. I need you to push through, because if you can push through, I know that you can help me come out. There's something different about you, but Satan tried to destroy those plans early on in your life. He tried to give you an illness. He tried to give you an addiction. He tried to make sure that you couldn't get to the place that you were at, but God still says something about you. There's a fight in you. You had that spirit of lust attack you, and you kept falling time and time again, but there was something in you. There was a fight, and when that fight happened, you seemed to pick yourself back up again. When you got to a point in your life, you felt that you couldn't make it anymore. And every time you turned around, you seemed like that you had that bottle back up in your mouth. You seemed that you were back in front of that TV on the internet watching all of these lascivious things. But something happened. You said, wait a minute, I can't keep doing this. That's that fight. When you got to the place where you wanted to stick that needle in your arm again, and you said, and I'm tired of going around and around in circles, and I keep falling, but the Bible tells me the righteous falls 7 times, but he get back up again. That's that fight. And see, when you look at your life and you see that somehow, some way that you seem to get back up again, you said, I'm not going to always be like this. I'm not going to always continue to have to live my life this. You said, I'm going to keep fighting. And as you keep fighting, somebody is watching you from a distance. They're looking at your life and they say, wait a minute, Pastor Calvin was able to come up out of this. They say, wait a minute, fool, you see, I see how God did for you in your life. They're going to say, Harry, I've seen the struggles that you've been through, but you're still fighting. And they're looking at you and they're going to come to you and say, hey, will you help me fight? There's a story that you have to tell, but don't give up the fight.